bring Dr. Contrast in here. So, Dr. Contrast, how's it going, man? Great to see you.
I'm doing well, Shadow, and let me first to say that I'm really privileged to be a part of this whole process, and this has been an exciting format for me because the adventure side of it is just absolutely off the charts. Throughout my course and my career, it has not been captive; it's been pretty spread out. But to do something like this is really intriguing to me, and I really thank you for the opportunity to be a part of the program this evening.
Man, yeah, and it's really something that I've been looking for, and I know a lot of people have been really just really stoked about it. Especially when we started talking about how that ship looks and what is that actually going to have in it. So let's talk about how we actually got here with Sid. Obviously, his passing was December 30th, which is very unfortunate. But it actually sets up a perfect opportunity for us to do a great charity. So the charity that we've chose is actually the one that his family has asked to basically focus on, which is the City of Hope.
Right, correct.
You can donate directly if you want, but actually, again, the way that the format works, sorry if that's a little bright. Thank you guys, all these subscriptions, you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for donations, Karadef.
Just before we dive in, we've had Karadef, as well as Yogi, Yogi, both donating $25, and then Vengeance gifted 5 subs, which is absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
So Yogi and Karadef, you can rename any of the hosts because you've donated $25. Why don't I explain that really quickly before we go through? If any of you are new to the channel when you donate, and Shadowkin's going to talk a little bit about the donations because they're special. We're going to a charity this time. We're not doing the donations for the show this time. However, if you donate $25 or more, you get to change one of the host names for at least half the duration of the show. So it's pretty cool to do that. But today it's even more special, and Shadowkin's in the process of explaining that in reference to Sid Mead. So Shadowkin, go ahead.
Sure. So all the donations are actually going through to directly to our donation account. Reason why is because City of Hope, they don't have a direct donation link. So what we're going to do is tonight, like we said, $25 is going to get you a copy, a very, very high resolution, beautiful copy. We'll show you a couple examples here in a minute of a print of what we're going to have as the final product from tonight's show, and then a little bit of work that's going to happen throughout the week. So you're going to get $25. Get you that copy. It also enters you into a drawing, which is at the end of next week or sometime during next week's show. We're going to draw that. We want to be able to open it up so people who watch the show after the fact can get in, and also extend donations time, which is great. So what we're doing is we're just taking whatever the cost is to make those prints plus shipping and sending the rest to the City of Hope. And then what we'll do is we're going to select that next time. So it's $25. Now you can buy multiple prints, but we can only allow you to have one entry. That's just the way that it works. There's nothing we can do about that. We will probably have these up available if we don't sell out. Which would be great. We will actually we'll probably do another run for the store when we do get that set up later in February. But anyway, so $25 gets you into that, that copy. The drawing will be for the original artwork signed by Dr. Contrast. So that is kind of a nice little perk. We've got a couple other ideas of things we might include with that, but whatever it is, it's going to be extra special. I guess really we're gonna go into how Dr. Contrast actually came about, a little bit about him, a lot about his school, because that's actually what's got me really excited because it's really, really awesome. And then we're going to be able to do, we're going to walk through the process of how you do things.
That's correct. Yep.
So really, how'd you get started?
Well, it was an interesting journey. I think to begin with a story that might have some impact on what it did for me and redirected my life. It literally did change my life. When I was going through school, I started out in my freshman year, it was fine. The sophomore year, I decided to take a job with the road commission in Wayne County, Michigan. And as I'm sitting here, I can go back and I can just see it replayed in my mind about the fact that we had, on lunch break, I used to take a sketchbook with me, and I'd draw cars and do a bunch of stuff, and for about a 30-minute break. And all of a sudden, one afternoon, the crew that I was working with, the truck driver walked up to me and said, "Hey, JD, Jim, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm just drawing cars. It's my pastime. I just love to do this." He looked at the work and he said, "That's not too bad." And I said, "Oh, thank you very much. I love you too." So he looked at the work and he said, my cousin Maurice is a sculptor for Ford Motor Company. You ought to put your work together and go down and see what he thinks. That 30-second conversation ignited my career. I transferred from there, Michigan, on down into the Center for Creative Studies in Detroit, Michigan. And as I'm sitting here, it's given me chills to go back and see what you have dedicated your program to in terms of Sid Mead's work over the absolute phenomenal talent. He only stepped out of his professional practice 5 years. Yeah. And the very 5 years that I started, when I transferred down there, after Fran looked at my sketchbook and I went to Ford, here I am at the Center for Creative Studies, and in walks Sid Mead. And he was my instructor for all 5 years. We had him for basic drawing skills.
Did you know who he was then?
Yes, I did, because I had a penchant for going a lot of research and looking at certain things happening in the marketplace for design. But I had no clue about how to get there. And again, fast forward here, I'll explain that in a moment, why Dr. Contrast came about. So, yes, I purchased this book. I had Obligón, I had Innovations from United States Steel. We just were fascinated. And I'll give you a little quick insert here. It was really fascinating. So the first day of class, about 42 of us are in basic drawing skills, fundamental sketch rendering skills. In walks Sid Mead, and I'm serious, gentlemen, everybody stood. Everybody stood up. And Sid stopped and turned to us and said, in his very, very, very humble, small, still voice, said, "Gentlemen, have a seat. You're not in the presence of royalty." And some guy in the back goes, "Oh yeah, we are." But that's
cool.
how it started. And I think that from that point on, I was fortunate enough after I came out of CCS with his training and so forth. I was fortunate to pick up a position at the General Motors design staff. I came on board as a grade B designer. Within 4 months, I was working for Chevrolet Motor Car Company and doing some neat things and working. To make a long story short, that career spanned 12 years. I had the privilege of working overseas at Europe, at Opel. Also, some of the great names I worked with and for example, Bill Porter. John Z. DeLorean was my boss and manager.
Mr. DeLorean.
Mr. DeLorean for 2 years at Chevrolet. Bill Mitchell, Chuck Jordan, Irv Ribicki, Zora Arkus Duntov. On and on the list goes. I mean, I've been very
Famous
fortunate.
Corvette designer.
Yeah, Corvette guy. And I've just been very fortunate to go through the entire process. But throughout the journey, I think all that to say, pardon me here, gentlemen, but for all that to say that what finally took place was when I started at design staff, I was selected by Bob Verizor to go doing some travel journey work to work with schools and young people about how do you get into design. So I'd put these workshops and clinics on, and every time I'd go someplace, the first question was, "Hey, how do I get into this business?" Well, little by little over the course of time, that really started to become a motivational factor for me to move on and establish my company in Columbus here called Formations Design Group. And out of that, over the course of time, I've been active in the practice now. This is my 28th year. Very busy all the time, doing neat stuff, but not as neat as this. Believe me, this has been really interesting for me. And then secondly, as a result of that, got the inspiration during the travels to take that whole program into the high school and middle school levels. And for individuals who are interested in drawing skills or thinking skills, that's what Dr. Contrast is all about. And the real mission is it's not about me. What the real premise is, it's sad to say this, but a lot of great talent I've worked with over the years do not know what industrial design is. They have no avenue of approach as to how to get there, what schools to go to, what courses to take. So this program I've started digitally gets a young person started. It's called Dr. Contrast in the Beginner Series. We're adding 2 or 3 to go. Hopefully, if all goes well, I'd love to do one on space yachts. Wouldn't that be cool? But
we got a lot of big inspirations.
Yeah. The ideas are there. So, but that was a motivation for the Dr. Contrast program, and I've been very fortunate to work with great talent like yourself and Mike and his group here. So. That's the long and short of it, so thank you for your patience. And it's just, I can say this, I can honestly say this without any reservation at all. I don't think I've ever gone to work a day in my life. It's been a complete
That's the
passion.
secret, right?
That's the secret. I've worked
Find
with
what you love and
tremendous.
find a way to make money at it.
Absolutely. You can't replace it. It's just, I think someone told me once, it was a great line too. I use it all the time in public speaking engagements, and we laugh about it all the time. And please, it just don't take it out of context. But it's really interesting that what the world needs more of are geniuses. There's so few of us left. So I think that was one of the great taglines of, again, Sid Mead. He was an absolute phenomenon. Just absolute phenomenon. So I'm grateful to be here. I hope that explains what the Contrast program is all about. And I sincerely believe that as a result of being with Mike and the crew here with the Yacht Club gang, the best is yet to come.
Yep, awesome. Yeah, so actually it's drcontrast.com. Real easy to find, really to get. We're
Very.
getting his Twitch channel actually set up, so that's actually going to be exciting. We're going to do the same thing with kind of our show where we have, Twitch. He's going to just turn on his thing and start drawing. You can kind of get into a little bit of his work, which is pretty awesome because he does a lot of really great stuff. But he also runs a school, which is amazing. We're looking at it right here. The beginner series, $97, 9 videos, an hour content. I mean, it's personal one-on-one, when reach out instructions. So I
Right.
mean, it's just
Yep.
you can't get that at this quality. So I just, it's a little plug, but I really wanted to because I think it's amazing. I'm probably going to take it myself just because I think it's really exciting.
Can I add a quick thought there, Mike, or a shadow? What really interests me about this whole process, and again, part of the motivation, that really there's very little avenue of approach. Young people come to me all the time, or parents, and I get calls all the time. But what do my talent? My son or daughter has a great talent, but what do we do with it? How do you get there?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the sad tragedies about taking these individuals who have great talent and put them in the marketplace and really give them a real goal objective in life at an earlier stage.
Right.
And I think and I hope I can say this too, and don't please get taken out of context, but over the years, and I'm sure we all agree with certain things, and this one is very sensitive to me and extremely very penetrating. What the problem with academia today is it teaches a young person to be everything they're not.
Yeah.
It substrates
Framework.
them, it categorizes them,
Yeah.
it puts them in rails and so forth, but they don't allow them to really express themselves. I've got a terrific yearning to do the next generation of X. Well, instead of coming back and saying, well, we don't do that here, the first thing we should say is, great, sit down, let's run,
Yep.
let's go. Treat
Absolutely.
that passion and deliver that goods to those kids to realize that, hey, listen, there are no boundaries here. What's your passion? Once we know what that is, I firmly believe this with all my heart throughout my career. 2 things are very paramount. Number 1, give a person a sense of adventure.
Yeah.
Number 2, a sense of just really a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over. You won't touch them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the exciting part of it because this just when I saw all this and we got in touch with him. Actually, Pixel's the one that you guys all know Pixel, of course. He's the one that actually got us involved and actually introduced us to Dr. Contrast. And ever since I've met him, it's just been one amazing revelation after the next. So I'm really